Good morning everyone, it's Dom here and I'm in the Skyline today. I just had to make an emergency video to talk about just how amazing the Skyline actually is. So I hadn't used it for about a month, and in that time I'd pretty much forgotten exactly how the Skyline feels, and I've gotten used to using the Mazda, which actually gives me a perfect base for reviewing this car. So this is my car, it's a manual. I haven't used it in a month, so that's why there's jumper leads down there. But here's the shifter. Now it's pretty sturdy, you can't really push it very far. And I just never really noticed this before, but compared to the Mazda, it's like a short shift kit from factory. And look how solid that is, it barely even moves now. So you can see that second, first, neutral, third, fourth. So there's not much travel in there, and it doesn't flap about like the Mazda does. And now to compare it with the Mazda. So here's a shifter in neutral, it's very floppy. Push into third, and it's still floppy. Now let's take a look at it from the side. That's neutral, that's fourth. Look at that big long throw. So going from third into neutral, that's like going from third into fourth in my car. And it's got that typical floppy shifter. So you might have noticed in a few of the photos I took of this car last time that my dad has a Mazda Familia or Capella, which all have the same shifter as this, even the 626. So next part that I'll talk about is the handbrake. So in my R34 it was a bit loose, and this car was a bit loose, so I just tightened it up a bit. And now, let's do it vertical for a second. You've got about 2 inches, 5 centimeters of travel before it's fully locked in. And for the clutch, down there by my left foot, you get about the same. You get about 2 inches of travel, which is really nothing. And then the brake, geez, only about 1.5 centimeters before it starts kicking in, and it's really sensitive. It's got these racing pads and racing rotors in them, the big turbo calipers, 4 pots front, 2 rear, and the accelerator. Everyone knows as soon as you tap it with your foot, the car starts to accelerate. Now let's take a look at the pedals. So there's the clutch pedal, and there's a lot of travel. Pretty hard to see it. All the way up to the wall like that. About, I wouldn't say twice as far as the Skyline. The Skyline probably goes about that far. Yeah, it's almost twice as far. The brake pedal, yep, it's also quite far. The brakes in this aren't the best. They do the job. Now the brake pedal's locked up now. Accelerator, you got a dead zone. I can't tell you where it is now, but yeah. Okay, so another point that one of my friends pointed out about another car is the steering. So this car doesn't have quite the turning radius of the Mazda. Obviously the Mazda has 4-wheel steering, which brings down the radius to about 8.6 meters. So that's pretty much this cul-de-sac over here. While this car, I suspect it's around 10.6. Now steering wheel, I won't turn it because the car's off. But lock to lock, I think it's about 3 turns. So I got about 1.5 turns out of the steering wheel before it was at full lock while the car was stationary. And just multiply that by 2, and that gives you your 3 turns. That's about as far as it goes. I'd say that's just under 3 turns. Now, part of the reason why I thought about selling this car is because of the gas mileage. So this car on highway driving gets about 10 litres per 100k. I think that's about 30 or 36 miles per gallon. While the Mazda gets quite a bit better. I think it gets about 8 litres, maybe 9 litres per 100k. But for the performance you get in this car, I think it's sort of worth it. And unlike the Mazda, you don't get a sunroof. You do get these really cool seats which have a hole in the middle. Reminds me of the Celine Mustang. I forgot what the number is, like S286 or something, S281, 284. It's nothing alike. This car does have bolsters, but for me they're a bit wide and they're not as strong as in the Mazda. So I'll just get out of the car for a second. Now the driver's seat, every Skyline's like this, so over here it's got a nice bolster. People have been getting in and out, so this one's flattened up until about here. You can see it from this angle. Alright, so just while I'm in the car and it's running, there are a couple of things I just want to talk about, which I really like. So when you put the car in reverse, you get a tone. Not only that, but I have a reverse camera running out through the stereo. That's something cool. And another thing is that the mirrors aren't zoomed as much. You got that little parking mirror down there. And I've gotten so used to this car that I can pretty much tell how far away from everything I am just by using the mirrors. Also the seats. So I haven't sat in the car in a while. I did use some cleaning products on the seats, and now that I jump back in the car, they just feel a lot more solid than I remember. I just remember them being really cushy and comfortable. Yeah. We've got these controls here for the stereo and old automatic Tiptronic gearbox when it was selective, but they never worked. And I've manual converted the car, hence why it's got the racing clutch in there. All the controls are exactly where you expect them to be. There's an intermittent wiper control down, the rear wiper intermittent on the end, or intervals on the end. High beams, you push it forwards or pull it back to flash. There's still a button down here to put it into snow mode to start the car in second gear when it was automatic. Got a nice it's like a soft touch fake leather feel to the top of the glove box here at the center. This one isn't broken like in the Mazda. Got a pull down armrest for the rear. The rear headrests aren't adjustable, fronts are. Not sure how well you can see it. There we go. Skyline door step plates, scuff plates, but they're plastic. In the MX6 they say MX6, and they're made out of metal. I gave them a really good polish before. Power windows front and rear, window lock, door lock, power folding mirrors, electrical adjust mirrors, the aircon that needs to be regassed but works, and also underneath the seats you've actually got rear outlets for the aircon. So for 1998 I'd say this is a pretty advanced car. Being the base model, this is quite specced out actually.